In this video, you're going to see some amazing birding around Utah Lake, the iconic lake in Utah County. We run into some awesome birds, including a California quail, some bald eagles, and some other iconic species. We also go hiking in some fall foliage. You don't want to miss this. Let's get into it. What's up everybody, back with another video today, and we're back up Dry Canyon again for the second week in a row. The sun's going down rapidly though, so we're not going to be out here very long. But stay tuned because we're going to be exploring two places you never know what you're going to find. My targets up Dry Canyon tonight are just one white-throated swift, and unfortunately I haven't seen any so far. We did see two raptor species though. One was pretty small up in the air. Not sure on that one. If you know what it is, let me know down in the comments below. I'm leaning sharp-shinned hawk, but I could be wrong. And then the other one's definitely a red-tailed hawk. That one's easy to pick out as well. Now, the one thing I will say is that the smaller hawk started dive bombing the red-tailed hawk, and you can see the size difference here. So if that helps you ID this bird, let me know. I might have an update for you later, especially if it's something interesting, but we're gonna keep on walking. It's really dead in this canyon tonight. I don't even hear any chickadees. Not a good sign for birding. So we only have a handful of birds on our list, just two and an American robin. Let's see what birds we can find. Sun's going down behind me here, and I honestly haven't heard and really haven't seen anything. I picked up a canyon wren again, but it's way up in the cliffs. So no footage of that, and just random little birds flying over. There's Townsend solitaire calling behind me. But I'm kind of hoping I have two other species that I could possibly get. One's a common poorwill. I don't even have that for Utah, so that would actually count for the Utah 300 challenge as well. I'd love to hear one of those, and I'm kind of hoping it just gets dark soon. And then western screech owl as well. Those have been moving down into the neighborhoods and stuff and have been reported quite frequently, but unfortunately not like in the cemetery near my house. We'll see if any of these birds pop up. No sign of the white-throated swifts though. Probably gonna have to wait until next year, which is devastating, but might go just a little bit further, see what birds we can find, start heading out, and then start heading back. All right, at this point it's starting to get dark, so I'm gonna start heading back. I'm gonna take my time though. Really want to hear a common poorwill. Probably wrong time of year to do that, but they should still vocalize. Western screech owl and common poorwill, both of those birds are strictly nocturnal, so it's still too bright out here for them to do anything at this point. But I also don't want to be stuck up here by myself. You can't tell, but my camera does not have nearly enough light to be able to film most things at this point. So we're gonna head back, see if we can pick up a miracle bird, and then I'll take you to the next stop and see what birds are there. All right, so it's actually starting to get dark, and this is when common poorwills should be calling. Haven't heard any yet. Again, it's very late in the season. I believe it would be flagged if they did call as a rarity because they're pretty much already left. I did, however, get a bat on camera. So, beautiful bat up in the air. You can barely see it. I filmed it with my iPhone. Not a successful birding trip in terms of birds, but a beautiful hike. I feel good, got a little bit of exercise in, enjoyed the fall colors. What more could you ask for? What's up everybody, back with another video today. We're at the Provo River Delta. Finally left Cache County. We're down here for a couple of days. My sister got married and I'm rushing against the clock to get this video out to you guys because I'm supposed to put it out tomorrow. But I'm here with Caleb and Peter. It's been a long time since I've seen these guys. Happy to be back with them. So far we've seen some amazing birds. My favorite has to be a snowy egret that was just sitting out on a log. Really awesome to see that bird. And then also just a whole bunch of other things. Belted kingfisher also perched out on a log. That was cool to see. I watched it dive down and then come back up to the branch. We have a few stops that we want to make today, and honestly we're just kind of looking for shorebirds. Unfortunately, there's not a lot going on right now in Utah. Not a lot of stuff to chase, but I am trying to do the Utah 300 challenge, see if we can get to that 300. We're sitting at 291 species for the state. We're definitely not gonna get 9 today, but if we can add 1 to our list, I would be happy. Let's see what birds we can find. We've made it to the bend in the trail. Now we're in a very tree-like area, but before we got here, picked up a yellow-rumped warbler. That's just a beautiful bird up in the top of the canopy right here. And then just on the way down the trail to get to this point, we saw some killdeer, which is always a pleasure, hoping obviously for any other plover out there, but killdeer are also cool. You have to appreciate the common birds. And then also just saw a Caspian tern flying back and forth in the air as well. And then just on the fence over here is a mourning dove perched up. So We're seeing a good amount of birds, and honestly, it's just great to be out, and it's chilly today. What we didn't know though is that duck season started today. So there's not a lot of ducks here besides mallards at this point, but any ducks that are on the lake are gonna be scattering all over the place. As you can hear behind me, that definitely sounded it like it was close by. Anyways, we're gonna continue down this trail, see what other birds we can find. We've made it to Utah Lake State Park, and just on the fence over here is a California quail, a female California quail. Those birds are absolutely adorable, and I actually grew up, my street was actually called Quail, and so we had, and yeah, there were quail that ran all the way around. Unfortunately, it got developed just recently in the last 5 to 10 years, and all the quail disappeared, so whenever I see that bird, I get a little bit of a nostalgic feeling. It also gave off great views, and I don't know, I was actually thinking in my head when we were driving here, I hope I see a California quail today, so happy to pick that bird up. We're almost to the marina at Utah Lake State Park, and sometimes there's some cool birds there. We'll see if we get lucky. So we ended up finding a lot of little peeps, little shorebirds, and we're not exactly sure what they are entirely, but we did see for sure least sandpipers in there, most likely western sandpipers, and we'll cycle through photos. Oh my goodness. We'll cycle through photos and see if there's anything special in there, but we've kind of just had a dead day. It's cloudy, it's cold, it's been raining all night, and it's just, the lighting is also really, really bad. A lot of birds are into the clouds, and there's no like sunlight to bounce off of them and show you their colors. So we're kind of having a rough day of birding so far. We have seen some cool species though, and I won't discount that, but nothing out of the ordinary. That being said, we're not done, and there's much more to see. So let's see if we can tack a bird onto the list. Picked up some new birds on this trail. Ended up seeing some black-capped chickadees, which there's no shortage of black-capped chickadees during the fall, especially. I feel like I see them a lot. I mean, yeah, I see them year-round, but especially in the fall. And then also got some pretty obscured views of orange-crowned warbler, which is a bird that we don't see very often. I don't get a lot of warblers on camera. There's not a lot of warblers in the West in general, and the ones that are here aren't super showy. So orange-crowned warbler views, and then also got a downy woodpecker, which surprisingly I haven't seen those hardly at all this year. So really happy to pick up a downy woodpecker, get that on camera as well. We're finishing up the trail here. We're really hungry, so we're gonna go eat some food, and then maybe we'll see what's been reported, see if we can find anything to add to our Utah list or just anything cool in general, and I'll keep you updated. So it ended up actually raining really, really hard. And it hasn't rained forever, but whenever you try to go birding, it's gonna rain on you. So we didn't end up seeing too many new species, but we did get some white-crowned sparrows on our way back to the car. And then near the parking lot, we picked up an osprey, and we actually just, we made a joke like, oh, look, a bald eagle, because whenever people see an osprey and they pass you on the trail, they say, did you see the bald eagle? Well, then there were 2 bald eagles on the tree right next to it. So a great end to today's adventure. You might be wondering, what the heck are you doing in the dark? We didn't see this in the video. That's because I'm filming a future video, the collaboration video on spooky birds, coming up in just a couple weeks. So you don't want to miss out on that video. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'm collaborating with your favorite bird tubers. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Bright Eyed Birding.